Now we're going to make a wet mount for the hair. So I've got a few items that I'm going to use. We have some lens paper because we want the slides as clean as possible. The same thing with the cover slip so you can see the details. Just a little bit of tap water. We have a pipette to put the water on the microscope slide. Always a good idea, so you don't mix up the hairs, is to use a wax pencil to write on the microscope slides. And I've got a couple of different pieces of paper because if I have really light hair, I want to use it on the black, and if I have dark hair, I'll put it on the white. So you'll notice that I have the hairs in different Ziploc bags. It's very important to keep these separate, and so when you clean up, I want these closed and put back into the bag so that hairs are not mixed up, and then it would affect the results for the other groups. Okay, I'm going to get a microscope slide out. Always handle it to avoid prints on the edges. Okay, and again, if I see any fingerprints or whatever, then I'd use the lens paper. Now I'm going to take my pipette, and just for purposes, you would add 2 drops. I'm going to add 1 drop, but you will add 2 because I want to show you how you can fix if you don't have enough water. Now, to get the hair, what we want to do, the reason I put the water on is the hair, if you try to put the hair on the slide and then the water, it's going to blow off. Now, I'm going to choose the cat. Try to find a hair that's light in color. That will give you the more detail on the medulla. If it's black, you just won't be able to see it. So I'm going to try to find a light hair. And then I've got it with my forceps. You notice when I took it out of the bag, I used my finger on the outside to hold the other ones. And then I grabbed it. And then I'm going to touch it to the water. And then it will come off. Okay, now I'll close up the bag. Now this is really important. In between each sample, just in case hairs are stuck to the forceps, I want you, don't use the water that you use to make the slides. Go to the sink, wash these off, and dry them really well so nothing is stuck to it and you cross-contaminate. It's happened before. Now, since I have my sample and my water, now I'm going to get a cover slip. Again, make sure it's clean. And to avoid air bubbles, I'm going to touch the edge of the water. You notice how it adheres, and then I'm going to lower. Now, there's some areas that it didn't quite fill in. So, what I can do is then I can come back with my water and just barely touch, and it will fill in. I can use my forceps and adjust it, kind of touch it to get any air bubbles out. Okay, so that is your wet mount. Now, let me make some room here. Then I would, before I even started, I would take my wax pencil and I would write cat. Okay, that way if you lay it down, okay, you're not trying to figure out what this was, especially if you make 2 or 3 slides. Now, to put this on the scope to prepare to focus it, you have a clip on the stage. Do not lift the clip and put it, the microscope slide, underneath. There's a corner that you're going to put one corner of the slide. So I'm going to open this clip, move the slide into the corner, and then release. Now it is secure and I can move the stage. I'm going to turn on the light. Usually if it's a large specimen, I will, without looking through the scope, I will adjust it so that I can see the specimen shining through the light. The stage is completely down. I'm on the 40 magnification. I'm going to take my coarse adjustment and I'm going to rotate it toward me and move it all the way up until it stops. Then from there, this is the fastest way to focus, and then I'm going to start using the coarse adjustment and focus it and then move out to the fine, and then from here on out is the fine focus only. Okay, moving my stage ever so slightly until I have it under preferably 400, so you can compare all of them and get really good detail on the scales and the medulla. Okay, when you're finished with your drawings and your observations, lower the stage, move it back, because that's the easiest way to find. You don't want to just leave it there. Take the slide off, and then we're not going to try to save the hair. Just get a paper towel, wipe both clean, and then we can wipe off the wax pencil, and then you can put it back in the bag and use it again. Okay, these don't save very well, especially putting them in the room. So, and then the water will dry out. So, as far as observations on your write-up, for the coloration, I would put it on the paper. Okay, and I'll have some handheld magnifying glasses also, so you can look at it with the naked eye in order to figure out the color. Don't just put white, put detail, because you know hair can be various colors. Now the cat, I put one hair. You can put 2 or 3. The human hair, I would put 3 or 4 samples and try to put them close together, even if they're crossing. Because even in human hair, some of them will have a medulla and some will not. If it's a gray hair, maybe the gray is completely grayed out and the medulla is gone. Maybe there's another hair that is turning gray and the medulla is still visible. So I grabbed 3 or 4 hairs and put it on the slide.